It is Kevin Worthen's first night as president of BYU. And as you'll see in his first television interview since receiving the appointment, his story is a Utah story through and through. Tonight, I go one-on-one with the former center of the Carbon Dinos, and the new man in command at BYU.
It is really surreal. I mean, there are still moments at which I think, are you kidding me? You know, a kid from Carbon County worked in the coal mines and all those things. Just think, this is the most unlikely story I've ever heard in my life.
Born in Dragerton, Utah, as the youngest of 4 kids and a surprising survivor of spinal meningitis, Kevin grew up with big dreams.
What I wanted to be when I was an NBA basketball player. Yeah. And all the way through probably about a senior in high school, that's what I thought it was going to be.
But when college time came, there was no call from BYU. So he took a scholarship at the College of Eastern Utah.
Who was the coach up here?
It was Glenn Potter.
Glenn Potter? Well, now you could have fired him.
Yeah, I could have fired him, that's right.
Dreams of the NBA turned into a quest to follow his older brother Clyde into law.
And then I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to be like Clyde, and I want to do what he does.
Following Clyde's example, Kevin eventually did make it to BYU, not as the center on the basketball team, but as the eventual dean of the law school, and now president.
What was the reaction of your mother when you called and told her you were the next president of BYU?
She was quite emotional. She's my biggest fan, so she was less surprised than I was in many ways.
If your dad were here, what would he say?
He would say, don't get big-headed about this. I'm quite certain that's the first thing he would say, and then do your best.
When you lay awake at night and think about the next couple of weeks, couple of years, maybe even a decade, what do you want to do with this place?
You can expect to hear a lot about the mission statement from me and about the aims of a BYU education.
Most of the McCanns graduated from BYU, but by today's academic standards, most of us wouldn't even been able to get into BYU.
It's the thing that probably weighs on my mind the most, the increasing demand that we're not going to be able to meet, and turning away thousands each year who would succeed if they were here. That makes it so that we need to be very careful and do the best we can. We won't be perfect at it, at getting people, the right people here. And it's not just those who have the highest test scores.
You had a lot to do with BYU's football independence. Do you see it staying independent through your administration?
My guess is there'll be at least one other shift somehow in terms of college football. It may be a separate division. It may be realignment, one more shot. It may be both of those things. And I don't think it would be safe to predict that we could, we'll be in the same place. But I do like the fact that where we're at right now, we have more flexibility than had we not made a change at that point.
Kevin and his wife Peggy have 3 children and 1 grandchild. His story is also one of hope for those of us still waiting for a growth spurt. He was 5'9", the point guard, as a freshman, shortest on the team. But by his senior year, he had grown into a 6'4" starting center. He's been standing out in the crowd ever since. So.